Greetings. I have a new presentation to share with you titled Fundamental, excuse me, the basis of our mind concerning money. Here's a quote, edited, of course, for brevity's sake, by Aristotle concerning usury. The most hated sort is usury, which makes a gain out of money itself. For money was intended to be used in exchange, but not to increase at interest. This is a picture of myself, and I came to this realization, and I thought I'd just declare it. I find myself waking up to the notion that I am dreaming when I protest against usury in central banks in hope that someday we the people will rise up against the Federal Reserve. The title was Fundamental, and this slide shall show you the original definition of fund. The original definition of fund is the bottom or a foundation or base. You can pause and read this if you like. Mental seems to maintain its definition. It means pertaining to the mind or to think, the original definition. So I took the term fund and mental and came up with this analogy, base mind. Synonyms of base-minded are mean, low, vile, groveling, etc., etc. Pause if you would like to go over this list. Base-minded is also debauchery, and here are some synonyms for debauchery: depravity, excess, lust, orgy, gluttony, etc., etc. I encourage you to pause and look over this list. Do you have a base mind? Are you debauched concerning monetary fundamentals? According to Investopedia.com, a fund is a pool of money that is allocated for a specific purpose. For example, a government may set aside money to build a new civic center. Our money supply is also a pool of money, but it's the greater pool. What do I mean by that? Well, according to Investopedia, the money supply is the sum total of all the currency within a society on the date measured. From where does the United States get its money? Well, obviously, as you should know, it gets its money from the Federal Reserve Bank, which created it out of thin air, something out of nothing, and they loan it to our society at a price, and that price is called interest. But I want you to consider this: interest does not circulate within any economy, if you will. The Federal Reserve Bank creates only the principal of our currency that is loaned to us. Okay, so what is a principal? What is meant by principal? The principal of money is the face value that appears on the bill. Here's another bill. What is the face value displayed on this bill? Is it not $50? The Federal Reserve Bank has the Midas touch. Everything they touch turns to money. Fractions of our money supply must then serve as interest. Why? Because interest does not circulate within an economy. Our entire money supply has been borrowed into circulation. So how can we pay back something we had never received? We have never borrowed interest. Therefore, fractions or a portion of the money supply must serve as interest. And the end result is this. Thus, as an end result, because of interest, our monetary system is inherently debased. For example, let me give you an example. Let's say that this silver dollar represents our entire money supply, which is about $2 trillion or better. Excuse me, $20 trillion or better. P stands for principal, right? A fraction of it must serve as interest. A fragmented coin, this coin representing our money supply, is a debased coin. Our money supply is debased. Our money supply is inherently debauched, right? What is meant by debased? Debased means the bottom fell out. The bottom fell out. There is no where to stand in this type of economy that we're being governed by. Debasement of coin is also known as debauchery of currency, by the way. According to John Maynard Keynes, the black and white photo is John Maynard Keynes. He said this in his book, The Economic Consequences of Peace, concerning Lenin. Lenin is said to have declared that the best way to destroy the capitalist system is to debauch the currency. How do you debauch the currency? By using fiat currency is what we have. By having no gold, no silver backing of your money and loaning it to a society at a price. That price is called interest. And what happens as an end result is a process of inflation. It says by a continual process of inflation, governments can confiscate secretly and unobservedly an important part of the wealth of their citizens. Because interest debauches the money supply, society as a whole can never repay the entire principal back to the central bank and thereby must continue to refinance or lose their collateral. This is how bankers roll. When you borrow money from a bank, they want you to put up some collateral. So what is the collateral that you're putting up to borrow the funny money, the fake money? The collateral is, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is called debt in perpetuity. And thus society is bound in bondage in a system of peonage, also known as debt slavery. Unknowingly, okay? The fund, the original definition of fund is bottom or foundation or the base. The base fell out. The bottom fell out. Right? The fund of our economy has sunk and is sinking. Why? Because of interest. Casting us into a bottomless pit of debt. Our national debt as of June the 19th, 2024. It's interesting, right, that I chose this date because Juneteenth was when the last slaves in Texas found out that they were free, right? But none of us are free. We are in the system of peonage, debt slavery, which is incentive for chattel slavery, but I digress. The U.S. national debt $34.8 trillion and rising. This is abysmal debt. This is debt in perpetuity. This is debt. Why? For what reason? For what reason? What is worth $34 trillion? Nothing. This is because of interest. People of America. It's not about race. It's about classism. It's about a group of people ruling over the rest of us. Get us in debt. Why? I'll tell you why. Perpetual indebtedness to finance war is the result of a sinking fund. Do you know what a sinking fund is? The bottom fell out of your economy because of interest. The bottom fell out. That's what a sinking fund is. War is hell. And according to a guy named General Smedley, war is a racket. And only the rich get rich. What is a sinking fund? Well, according to Investopedia.com, a sinking fund is money set aside to do what? To pay off treasury securities, right? Treasury securities that the government had issued to the central bank. But the central bank created the money out of thin air. Why not the government create its own money? What kind of games are these officials and these bankers are playing with us? They're playing games. They're playing this a sleight of hand trick. Why not the government create its own money? Why do you have to borrow money from a central bank that created it out of nothing? Right? Well, it's to enslave the people in debt, to keep you working, to keep you in a perpetual state of debt bondage. And you think this is the way life's supposed to be. It's a ploy. You being bamboozled, you hoodwinked. This has been going on for decades. As we the people, in order to finance war, and by the way, FDR had suspended the gold standard to fight war, and he brought in a fiat currency during his time. Then he went back to the gold standard. Why? Why did he suspend the gold standard? It's because you cannot inflate gold. You cannot inflate silver. It stabilizes the economy because of its scarcity, quality. But fiat currency is not scarce. It's called elastic currency. The opposite of elastic is static. Static means do not change. Elastic, you can print up money. Elastic money can be printed up till the cows come home. As we the people, in order to finance war, continue to borrow money from the Fed, they had created it out of nothing. We shall continue to amass trillions of dollars, of worthless dollars, similar to Zimbabweans, in exchange for what? In exchange for a loss of land, in exchange for a loss of sovereignty, in exchange for our children fighting wars for corporate interests, only to return home badly injured or in body bags. This is what you want, America? Well, this is what you're getting. You see that picture there? Bank home, bank owned. That house was built with something real, with real wood, with real stone, with real labor, in exchange for funny money. Something for nothing. Your time and energy gone down a black hole, down an abyss All the time and energy you had used, America, to build houses, to establish an economy, and you squandered it to some bankers. Third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, had said this. He said, I sincerely believe that banking establishments are more dangerous than standing armies, and that the principle of spending money to be paid by posterity means your offspring, your children, under the name of funding. Talking about what kind of funding? You're talking about a sinking fund. This is what Thomas Jefferson talking about. A sinking debt in perpetuity. This is what he's talking about. It's but swindling futurity on a large scale. In other words, you handed down the bag to your children. You passing debt to your offspring. And this is what is happening, and this has happened, and it's still happening. So I'm coming to a close. I say the end of Fed. The end. End of Fed.